This video is going to be on how to tie up an extension cord the way the professionals do. Well, the first step that you need to do is plug in your cord. You need to straighten everything out, get your cord fully straightened out, and then plug the mating ends together. Once you do that, you want to go to the middle of the other side. So I'm going to hold my hand over here, do it however you want, but the goal is to get to the other side of your cable. You want to be in the middle, that's why you plug it in at the other end. You could do this at the end where the cord is, but whichever way works best for you so that you end up getting the layout that you want to. So here is the end of the cord. Now the first step is, this is the center end of the cord. The first step is you want to make a knot. Doesn't really matter how big it is. You just don't want it to be a tight knot. So this is about a 25-foot cord. I'm just going to make a regular knot in here. Again, this knot is not critical. If you want to make a knot, don't make it too tight. You don't want to ruin your cable. But you want to make a standard knot, just so that you have something to work with. Now that you've got your knot in there, you want to hold your cable in your right hand. You got the knot. You want to make a standard knot. So you're going to put this thing through a regular knot. I'm going to pull that through. This is kind of a curved cable, so it doesn't want to work easily. So now that I've got my regular knot, you can see there are two knots in here. The first knot just to tie things down. Now I've got a standard knot in here. So now that you've got your standard knot, see how this is coming out? Just take your hand and go in from behind. That didn't sound right, but take your hand and go in from behind the opening. Go in from behind the opening, and you grab what's left in your right hand. You're just going to repeat this over and over again. You grab what is in your right hand with your left hand and pull. So you're going to see how I grab what was in there and you pull. You bring that up and hold on to the left, to the right side, and you repeat that. You take your hand and you put it in the opening and you pull. And then you take your hand and you put it in the opening and you pull. And you take your hand and you put it in the opening and you take the right side and you pull. And you take your hand and you put it in the opening and grab the right side and you pull. You take your hand and put it in the opening and grab the right side and you pull. And you take your hand and put it in the opening and you grab the right side, the cable's bundling up down here, and you pull. It doesn't matter how big you make these you're going to figure out which way you want to do this so that it works. You take your hand and you put it in the opening, grab the right side, and you pull. You take your hand and you put it in the opening and you grab your right side and you pull. Your left muscles are going to feel this after a while. You take your hand and you put it in the opening, you grab the right side and you pull, and then you take your hand and you see we're at the end of the cable. So just go figure out how you want to knot this thing up any way you want to. Just shove that thing in there. And you're done. Now you're done. You get your cable and it's all bundled up. When you want to use it, you will undo the last knot that you made. So you'll go backwards and you will pull that knot out. And then all you do is you start yanking your cable and you literally thoroughly undo what you just did until it's all apart. And all you're left with is your original knot. So I'm going to show you that one more time. It's about 85 degrees in here, but I've got a sweatshirt on because I want you to see the contrast a little better than I did with the other shirt. So what you do is you will take your extension cord and you will plug it in so that they mate. Male and the female, you plug it in, and then you will go to the other end. So you'll hold this, and you'll go to the other end in the middle. You want to get to the center of your cable. And when you get to the center, that's this part over here, what you want to do is make a knot. It doesn't really matter how big. You don't need it to be big. You're just doing this as your starting point. So you just make a standard knot. Everyone should know how to make a standard knot, or you shouldn't even be attempting this. Just going to go over and under and pull. And that gives you your knot. That's not a big issue. That's just to get to a starting point so the cable doesn't unwind while you were doing this. Now that you've got the cable, you're going to repeat the same step over and over and over until you were finished. You're going to hold the cable in your left hand, you're going to hold the thing in your right. And you're going to make a knot. You're going to make your first knot. So what you're going to do is you're going to, it's just a standard knot that we just made before, you're going to go over and under. That's the important part. Go over and under, and you bring this part up. You see that? You go over and under, standard knot. Bring this part up. And after you bring it up, you're going to repeat this step over and over again. Now, you're going to put your hand in the loop. You're going to go to the bottom part of the cable, and you're going to pull. You're going to pull it through. Now you're going to have a new loop. You're going to put your hand in there. You're going to take the right side. You're going to grab it. You're going to pull it through the loop. You're going to put your left hand in, grab the right side, pull it through the loop. Take your left hand in, pull it right side, pull it through the loop. And you're just going to do this the whole way of the cable. You try to get in a different angle so that you can see it a little better. Hand goes in, grab the right side. You can see what's happening here. It's making the knots that you need, or the loops that you need. Pull it through, left hand in, grab the right loop, left hand in, grab the right, make a loop. We're almost done, another couple feet. Left hand in, grab the right, loop, left hand in, grab the right. You can see we're almost at the end of the cable, so there's not much more. I'm going to do one pulling it through, like I have all along, and then I've got the end cable over here. So there's really not a lot. I don't have enough, but normally you would take this and you would make a knot. So I'm going to undo this last piece that I just did. That's my loop, my last loop. And I'm just going to go in here and squeeze a knot in here. Just squeeze a knot so this whole thing doesn't unravel. That's the part you want to do. You don't want this side to unravel just like you didn't want your original other side to unravel. And you're done. And then you just pull this tight. And when you want to use the cable again, you'll just go in here and undo this knot, the original ending knot, and then you will just take this thing and you'll pull it. This is what all the pros do. You will pull it, and as you pull it, all of these knots will start to come undone. All the loops that you put in there, they will start to come undone. This cable's not the perfect one to use because it was wrapped up a different way, but you can see that it all just comes apart. And after you do this a few times, it will be a lot easier for the cable to come apart like it's supposed to, and there it is. And then you're down at the original, which is just your knot that you put in there. You undo your knot, go to your other end. If this video helped you, please do a thumbs up, a subscribe, a like. If you like my videos, you can link them to other sites if you want to. Or go to my channel page and click on the support button and leave a donation. That's the other end. You unplug it and you're finished. Some people like to do the loop. They like to do this, and instead of starting the knot over here, or they might want to start the knot over here so that they can get the plug. It just depends on what you want to do. The main goal is just to wrap it up, figure out what side you want to do this at, depending on if you want to open it up on the middle and throw your plug at one other side, or if you want to open it up at the other end and walk your cable through the room. It's up to you which way you start, which end you start at. That's how you wrap up a cable the proper way. Good luck. It takes a while to watch this a few times and just watch my knots and what I did. It's just the same standard. It's the same standard. I'm not going to be tying it up at the end, but it's you take your left hand, you put it in, and you're making a knot. That's all you're doing is making a knot. Take your left hand, 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 making a knot. Left hand. You get the idea, and then when you're done, you just pull on the whole thing and it all comes apart. You're really just tying it up with loose knots, not completely tightened down knots. Good luck.